G'day everyone, welcome to another edition of Guvs Hero Review videos. We are going to be continuing in our Mechanoid Hero series, taking a look this time at the 5-star legendary blue heroine, Booster, the Supercharger Robot. So Booster is available for summons, as we can see in the Mechanoid Menace portal, or the Mech Menace portal. This rolls around once every 8 weeks. It is on a 4-week rotation, monthly appearance, but it alternates every month, or every other month, with the other Alliance event, which is the Monster Island event. So unfortunately, as you can see, this portal does not have any featured heroes. There's nothing showing there, so all of the legendary heroes are as likely to appear as any other one in that 1.2% chance. Booster has been in the game for a while now. She was introduced back in March 2021 with the very first edition of the Mechanoid Menace event. The portal's been expanded a couple more times since then, in April 22 and June 2023 in the updates around that time. Flipping over to my roster and we can take a look at her artwork. So here she is. So artwork, she's kind of got, the Medibot sort of thing, which kind of works. So she's got the medical stuff, she's got some injectables, little Medibot, which is actually the same as her Minion icon in battle, so that's a nice little cool thing. And then a gun, which is kind of also like an injector, I guess. So yeah, so that's Booster. So we'll flip back to the portal and we'll scroll to find her. So Booster is a member of the Mechanoids family. So this family gives you a plus 12, 18, 24 or 30% chance to execute a support attack against the main target of an ally's special skill if there are 2, 3, 4 or 5 unique members of the Mechanoid family in the battle. They must be unique heroes. You can't bring along 2 different copies of the same hero, so it can't be Booster and Booster. It's got to be 2 different heroes, such as Booster and Tremor or Booster and Shutdown. A support attack, for those that don't know, it is just essentially it's a 100% snipe damage against that specified target. The Mech Menace Mechanoid family also gain a bonus when they're used during the Mechanoid Menace event. Specifically, they gain a plus 4, 8, 12, 16 or 20% attack and defense improvement to their stats if you have 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 unique Mechanoid family members in your team. So note, this stat bonus only applies when they're used during Mechanoid Menace event stages. Those stat buffs are not included in any other format of the game. It's only during the Mechanoids event stages. In terms of Booster's personal stats, she comes in with 679 attack, 706 defense, and 1392 HP. It is overall quite a low stat line, and that's illustrated by her lower power rating there. This is mostly a function just of her age and then the power creep that's happened since then. It is, for that era, slightly skewed towards the defense and HP stats at the expense of her attack stat, but not massively so. Her charge speed is 42, which is slow and requires 12 tiles to charge, or 6 ghosted tiles. To speed break her, you do only need +1, which you can use using just the class node or any of the speed guns available. A double break requires +8, which again can be done using either of the speed weapons in the game, the Regalizer Magnum or the Ice Breath Saw. Both of those give +9 speed improvement. So in all, the class node probably isn't overly relevant unless you're strapped for speed guns and you want to basically just break her once and then apply the speed gun to someone else. In most situations though, if you've got multiple speed guns available, you can probably just put a +9 on her and get that double break. So you don't really need to use emblems on her speed node. Class-wise, so Booster is a member of the support class. This grants her the chance to withstand negative status effects and charge drain effects. So it's a pretty decent perk, particularly that chance to withstand the charge cutting effects, such as those that you get from Dragon Fist or Attk. It's kind of like an inverse of the Recon talent when you think about it. So Recon talent, you take damage, you resist or evade the damage but take the ailments, whereas the support class, you take the damage but resist the ailments. So yeah. In terms of an emblem path specifically for Booster, I would personally go a HP and defense route, and that's basically to enhance the minion stats and then to increase her survival even further as a healer and a supporting hero. So I have done that. You can see this on my my card here. So I went on the defense HP route, so I picked up defense and HP. I prioritized HP over defense, and the reason for that is because any improvements to her health stat will reflect onto the minions that she generates. Yes, it's only going to be 1 or 2 health points additional for the minions, but it is just a little bit extra. So I prioritized health, and then defense, and then attack as the last resort. So we can see that path followed the whole way down. Anytime that I could pick up health and defense, I went that route. Any choice where I had to choose between health or defense, I went the health route. And you can see there as well, I stopped at node 18. I didn't bother with node 19, and certainly not node 20. Not for that many emblems when I can just use a speed gun instead. So that's the path I would recommend for Booster. So heading back to her card, we can take a look at her special skill when we find her. So there she is. So her special skill is titled Medbot Activation, and at level 10 skill and 42 charge speed will heal all allies for 280 health. It will then summon a Medbot Minion for all allies. This Medbot Minion has 10% health inherited from the caster, no attack notably. At the end of each turn, the Medbot Minion will then Medbot Minion, say that 3 times real fast, get a tongue twister. The minion will grant 6% charge to its owner at the end of each turn. So let's break that down a little bit. So we'll start with the health side of things. So healing, I've found you're able to compare it between heroes roughly like we do damage, but instead of doing an attack power, we just look at their health that they heal people for. So in the case of Booster here, she provides a 280 point heal to all allies, and then also summons 5 10% health minions. So each of those minions is roughly 139 health if we take that 139 health stat. So what this does, if I take those two numbers, multiply it by the range, so she has all allies, so 5 heroes, and then divide that by the number of tiles, we get roughly the healing that she does per tile. So in the case of Booster, 280 health instant, and then 139 health on the minions, multiplied by 5 divided by 2, comes out at a health per tile of 175. Alright, so that sounds pretty alright. When we compare it to some other blue heroes, we can actually see that it is a pretty decent amount of healing. It is in the middle of the pack in terms of the healing, if not towards the upper end of the blue healers we've got. So the best blue healer out and out is Anastasia. She does some pretty hefty armor as well as some pretty hefty healing, or some moderate healing. Parvati is actually a sneaky good healer. She's only got an AoE 3 on her, but she does an absolute crap load of armor generation. So on this one, I've sort of gone the very lowest amount of, the minimum amount of armor she can do. She actually has a scaling armor, so she generates more armor per turn if she doesn't get hit during that turn. So that 185 is actually most likely going to be higher, and it can actually knock Anastasia out of top spot. But that's all for Parvati's review. We've also got Doodle above Booster, but only just at 177 heal per tile versus 175. Some other ones, you've got Bridget and her variant, Nox, Aviana, Perla, and so forth down the list there. So it is a fairly decent healing, especially when you combine the direct heal with the pseudo heal from the minions. When you split them up though into individual categories, Booster does suffer a lot if you just examine either the healer or the minion side of things exclusively, because she's not a specialist healer and she's not a specialist minion maker. She's kind of a really nice combination hero. So yeah, by combining the two together, she is fairly effective, coming in at number 15 out of 51 possible AoE healers and pseudo healers. So she is still a very good healer. So as I said, number 4 in blue and number 15 out of 51 total possible healers. Yeah, so moving on from that, looking at just the minions, if we compare minions to only minions, she does suffer a lot. But the only reason I'm going to compare this is because of bloody battle tournaments where pseudo healing, i.e. minions, are still actually permitted in those tournament rules. So there is scenarios when you might consider Booster as just a minion generator rather than as the combined hero. So in terms of a minion generator, she does come in at number 12 out of 18 possible minion generators. Mostly this is a function of only generating a 10% minion. This is quite low. And she does also have quite low stats overall compared to a number of the more modern heroes. So because of those two things, the minion health per tile for Booster comes out at only 58 health per tile taken to charge her. For comparison, Ramhorn, who is like has the chunkiest minions in the game, if he manages to generate 5 minions, that comes in at 233 minion HP per tile. So there is quite a step change between the best minion makers in Ramhorn, Nima, Mothor, and Venus, and the ones all the way down the bottom. I mean, admittedly, Booster is still considerably better than all of the water fight heroes who generate really piddly little weird minions. But yeah, you know, where was I going with this? So yeah, as I said, most of it comes along from as a result of her lower stat line. So yeah. Moving on to the next part of her skill, which is I'm just going to talk about it real quick, the provision of a 6% charge for Medbot minion owners at the end of each turn. So this is a flat 6% charge. It's unaffected by the hero's speed or weapon modifiers. It does get affected by charge generation bonuses. So that's the difference between charge speed and charge generation. So charge generation bonuses include things like the talent node, as well as buffs and ailments from heroes like Jocasta or Sapphire, respectively. In the end, free charge is free charge, right? The caveat for this one is that it's linked to the Medibot minion, which we've already seen isn't the beefiest of minions, so if your minion dies, you lose the free charge. There is a really easy way of protecting this, and that's to summon a more beefy minion first. So if you have Booster combined with, say, Nima, as an example, if you fire Nima first and then fire Booster, what ends up happening is the Medibot minion is hidden behind Nima's minion. So Nima's minion takes damage first and the Medibot minion is somewhat sheltered. So you can do this with any minion generator in the game. So overall, in summary for Booster, she is actually still a pretty good hero. She's old, yes, but she is still reasonably solid. I do use her semi-regularly. Her stats, they're not the great. Her healing and the minions exclusively, individually, they're not as great as some of the new options you're getting into the game, but she is still healing. She is still making minions. She is still generating free charge. All of these things are actually a really good combination on a hero. So realistically for Booster, the most obvious comparison is Pulse, who's the most recent. Like, it's literally Pulse is a direct improvement on Booster. She has chunkier minions. She's got a bigger heal. She's got more charge that's generated per turn. As I said, the downside to Booster is just that Pulse does all of those things better. But as I said, it's not to say that Booster is bad. It's just that she's kind of like the lesser cousin of Pulse. Not as defensively effective because of those stats, but equally effective on attack situations. So for Booster's grading, I'm going to give her a B grade for attack. I'm going to give her a C minus for War Machine. So that's because she doesn't really contribute anything to your War Machine team. Healing, but that's about it. For eventing, I'm going to bump that up to a C+. This is mostly because of the healing side of things in the free charge. So a portion of event scoring is based on the health remaining, so healers can boost that. In terms of defense situations, so for raid and war defenses, I'm going to give her a C. Pulse is a very good defensive hero. Booster isn't so much, as I said, and that's mostly because of the stat line of her. So she can still work okay, I guess. I'd probably put her at a flank, though. I definitely wouldn't put her in tank position like you would Pulse. In the tournament setting, so I'm going to give her a B grade for attack and a C grade for defense in Bloody Battle. This isn't a change from her normal grading or a normal raid and war because she loses the healing, which takes out part of her skill, but then she also keeps the minions, so she's kind of got an up and a down grade going on there. Buff boosting, I'm going to drop her down to a B minus for attack and a C minus for defense. And then charged attack, I'm actually going to give her quite a substantial improvement because she goes from 42 slow up to 65 fast. So I'm going to give her an A minus for attack in charge attacks and a C plus for defense. So overall, that grading comes out as being a B minus for her overall attack grade and a C for her overall defense grade. So that concludes the content that I have for this review of Booster. As always, these are just my personal opinions on these heroes. I love hearing your thoughts and feedback on them, so please, if you've got something that you'd like to share, jump down into the comments section of the video, drop me a note. I love reading them. I try to reply to as many of you as I can. If you did enjoy the video, as always, like the video, subscribe to my channel, and there's heaps more of this sort of content floating around there. But most importantly, share the video with your alliance mates, because chances are, if the video was useful for yourself, it's also going to be useful to the people you play with also. Thank you once again for joining me for this review and tuning in. I do hope I will see you again soon in another video, but until then, stay safe and happy gaming. Cheers, bye!